Viewers, it's all but over. The game's up. The game's up. All the fun and games are up for Rhea Chakravarti and Souvik Chakravarti. There has been a major breakthrough in the Sushant Singh Rajput case today. The drug chats unearthed by Times Now have had massive repercussions, viewers. The Narcotics Control Bureau has arrested peddlers who have admitted links to Rhea Chakravarti's brother, Souvik Chakravarti. The stage now is set for an arrest, and it could happen at any time. Cornered and shaken by the news of an impending arrest, the entire alleged Rhea drug circle, so to speak, has begun to distance itself from the suppliers, viewers. It's quite surprising. In fact, Shruti Modi, who has featured prominently in the drug chats with Rhea, has through her lawyer disclosed the biggest supplier in Mumbai is a controversial, politically linked celebrity builder. That's what he has gone on record to say, Ashok Sarogi. The disclosure has led to a massive outburst of reactions, with those close to Sushant's family and several political leaders indulging in a acerbic blame game. But look at those pictures on your screens, viewers. Those are the pictures of an individual who is linked to a politically well-connected builder family. That individual in those frames, viewers, is also linked to the A-list of Bollywood. And we are now being told that this individual, Mr. Khatri, Imtiaz Khatri, is somebody who is one of Mumbai's biggest drug suppliers. We're not saying this. This is being said by the lawyer representing Rhea Chakravarti's closest friend, Ms. Shruti Modi, an individual whose chats went viral once we exposed them here on Times Now. She's the individual who in her chats was found to be administering drugs by the drops to Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, we will just rewind a little bit. There are about 7 individuals who are part of Rhea Chakravarti's inner circle. There's Shruti Modi, there's Jaya Saha, there's Souvik Chakravarti, Siddharth Pithani, Dipesh Sawant, Samuel Miranda. Shruti Modi is one of those who, I'm being told, is also an agent for Rhea Chakravarti, involved in those drug chats. There's Samuel Miranda, there's Dipesh Sawant, who was the helper, Siddharth Pithani, another associate of Sushant Singh Rajput, Souvik Chakravarti, who's Rhea's brother. All of these individuals, viewers, today, fearing arrest, have begun to shift the blame away from themselves. Onto whom? Onto an individual who, viewers, today is thought to be close to all the big names in Bollywood. Now, this is very, very serious. The individual that we are talking about is Imtiaz Khatri. Imtiaz Khatri is the son of politically connected, controversial Mumbai builder. That particular builder and another one of Imtiaz Khatri's brothers ended up in jail for a significant amount of time in connection with a very politically sensitive irrigation scam in Maharashtra. Now, viewers, as I told you, it's not me who's making this claim. This claim is being made by Shruti Modi, a co-accused in this particular case, both by the family of Sushant Singh Rajput as well as the NCB, the ED, and other agencies, the CBI. And, viewers, that lawyer says that we have nothing to do with the suppliers. The suppliers, very well-known individual in Bollywood, great links there, also very politically connected. Now, I just want us to very quickly listen in to Ashok Sarogi and also bring in Tamal Saha.
Now, as far as drugs are concerned, it's a very common thing in the film industry. If you remember, one of the TV actress has committed suicide, and her boyfriend was in the clouds, and there was a news that he was supplier of the drugs. There were other news also, like Mamta Kulkarni and others. So it's a very common factor. Even today, if you wander around the Lokhandwala area and Oshiwara area, I'm sure you will be in a position to get some person who is ready to deliver you the things. So it's a very common thing in the film industry. Now, as far as the supply, etc. is concerned, it is also within the knowledge of the police authorities as to how these things are being supplied. All these drugs are being supplied by one of the topmost person in the trade, that is Mr. Khatri. Now, as far as Mr. Khatri is concerned, he is a very big person. I believe today...
What's his full name, sir? What's his...
Imtiaz Khatri.
Okay.
I believe that today, since I am taking his name, tomorrow there might be some problems with me also, because he is that kind of influential person. He do not have influence only in the Bollywood, but also in the ministry. He is very close to the political party, that is NCP. And I must tell you, his two family members were also involved in the irrigation scheme running into thousands of crores of rupees. They were behind the bar, and it is only after the present government came into existence they have been granted bail. So
Who are those two relatives, sir, if you can name for our viewer?
Father and son, both were behind the bar for almost, I can say, about 2 years. And thereafter, when the present government came, obviously their own government has come, and therefore they have been bailed out. Now,
We have one video of also 2017 party where Mr. Khatri, allegedly Mr. Khatri, can be seen guiding Sushant, controlling him, guiding him to the vehicle.
Sir, I'll tell you that if you look at that video will show how many politicians have attended to that party. Now, I'm sure that you will find at least the number of MLAs of Maharashtra Assembly, as it was at that point of time, attending that party, which will show the kind of influence he was having upon the politicians.
Sir, you're making these allegations on Imtiaz Khatri. Has ever any link of him in the past came with the drug cartel or drug racket? How much you are sure when you're making these allegations on Mr. Imtiaz Khatri?
Sir, I have got this information from the video chats which I have in my possession. Of course, Khatri is not named, but the person whom I have named, Sohel Sagar, that he has specifically named these persons. I must tell you, Bandra police has called him, and he was there at Bandra police station for about a day, and thereafter, obviously, since he has got a big connections, he was allowed to go, and no records have been made. If you take out the footage of Bandra police station, you will find his presence, but subsequently all the records about his attendance, etc., that has gone. So this entire trade is being controlled by Mr. Khatri, and it is nothing new, because since I am concerned with the film trade, I come across so many persons who are taking the drugs, who are known to me, who are being forced to take the drugs, and on some of the occasions, because of say want of work, etc., they are being forced to go into this line.
Absolutely sensational, viewers. Absolutely sensational. And I want to quickly go across to Tamal as well as Siddhant. Siddhant, you conducted that interview. Dr. Subramanian Swamy is also here with us. He has been insisting that there has been from day one a big underworld drugs link. He has also been saying very clearly that there are underworld operatives far and wide, even across the sea, extending up till Dubai. All of this now seems to be vindicated. It seems that somebody very, very powerful has a control over all of this and can immediately cover this all up. So I want to come out to you, Siddhant, and I want you to tell us a little bit more about this very interesting conversation you have. Why is it suddenly that Ashok Sarogi, who should be defending Riya Chakravarti and company, is suddenly giving up names?
That's absolutely right, Rahul. It was Dr. Swami only who first come out with the claim that this entire death has got something to do with the underworld and the drug angle. Now, the fact here is Mr. Sarogi is a very senior counsel in Bombay High Court, and the claims that he's making, the allegations that he's making, is with full authority and responsibility. Now, Rahul, he has spoken exclusively to Times Now. He has made these allegations. He has clearly named Mr. Khatri, and he also has to say that current dispensation is protecting him and his family. Now, he also adds on to say that it was Mr. Khatri who even visited Bandra police station to get his statement record, but the entire matter was settled off the record. So these are Mr. Sarogi's claim. Now, you know, Rahul, that Shruti Modi already carries the allegation of supplying drugs to Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, his counsel is making these claims. It means that even Shruti Modi is also aware of about Mr. Khatri's name. Not just that, Rahul, my sources in agencies are also confirming to us that Mr. Khatri is on their radar. They have been told that Mr. Khatri has been involved in these kinds of activities in the past, and their informant networks have briefed the agency regarding the same. But at the same time, this interview that we have managed to get of Shruti Modi's advocate, where he is making clear allegations. Not just that, Rahul, he has also said that since he is making these allegations, even his life is under threat.
His life is under threat. Very, very important, viewers. This is very, very big. Anyone who will expose this, who will dare to expose this, might end up in a situation that will not be in any way in his interest. Perhaps Sushant Singh Rajput knew too much. Perhaps, I can't say, viewers. But the more I think about it, the more my thoughts go back to what Dr. Subramanian Swami had told us. And I want to bring in Tamal, because there has been another very massive development, Tamal. We are going to just pull out visuals. Dr. Swami is listening in on this. You can update him also. But visuals of peddlers who were today questioned. And those peddlers have come out and said, in fact, that Souvik Chakravarti, they are linked to Souvik Chakravarti. Those are the peddlers. They were today caught and interrogated, and they seem to be singing like canaries. And I'm also being told that Gaurav Arya's interrogation with the Enforcement Directorate is over. He spent 8.5 hours there. So, Tamal, quickly fill us in on this big confession, massive confession.
Well, that's right, Rahul. It's a massive confession made by the peddlers who have been picked up by the NCB. We have to understand, if this is Sushant Singh Rajput's investigation case conducted by CBI, and if this is Mumbai, there is a cusp. And this cusp is nothing but the drug menace that many would be wanting to point out. And at this point in time, even though Rhea Chakraborty and her camp has kind of dismissed all the allegations, but the peddlers who have been picked up by NCP have clearly suggested that they are connected with Souvik Chakraborty. And just not Souvik Chakraborty, they have also said they have clear links with Bollywood. Interestingly, the people who have been picked up, they have also given the map to NCB as how they were procuring and sourcing this contraband drugs, marijuana, and even buds to the tune of crores and crores of money. And these people have given a route of USA, Canada, Delhi, Mumbai, even connecting to Goa. And very interesting point, Rahul, one last point. The overseas connection. My sources tell me that even Souvik Chakraborty was there.
Souvik Chakraborty was there. What was he doing there? What was he doing there? What was he doing there, Tamal?
Well, Rahul, Souvik Chakraborty, you know, today managed to come to DRDO guest house. What I'm picking up from my sources, he came along with his friend because CBI had summoned him and his friend. Later on, both the people were taken to Borivali for spot inspection because once again, the friend of Souvik Chakraborty, once again, who was introduced to Sushant Singh Rajput via Souvik Chakraborty, was allegedly into dealing of drugs. So it is extremely significant, a development which has happened in DRDO guest house. Souvik Chakraborty came down, even though he did not come with his parents.
Very big. So what you're telling me is that this entire case now has reached a head, and the head clearly now is beginning to represent a massive conspiracy. Dr. Subramanian Swami also joins the broadcast. I think he's connected with us. Dr. Swami, we have been having a few audio issues with you, but I just want to bring you in on this massive breakthrough today. We are being told that Ria's brother Souvik is the person who has links to the peddlers. We are being told by Ashok Sarogi that the biggest supplier of drugs is a very influential individual who's politically connected to the Bollywood A-list and perhaps has links further afield. Now, this vindicates you, but where does this leave the case, sir? Do you now think that the Chakravartis, the sister and the brother will be arrested? There is no doubt about it now in your mind? Dr. Swami, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, we're going to try and reconnect with Dr. Swami. We're having some audio issues with Dr. Swami. Yes, can you hear me now? Dr. Swami, okay. We're going to let's open this up. Let's open this up very quickly. Let me bring in Shahzad Poonawalla. Shahzad, what do you make of this? Big day, big breakthrough on 2 accounts. Names just spilling out of the closet now. Everything that was ignored for 77 days, today being confirmed.
Rahul, this is absolutely sensational disclosure by Times Now. And Rahul, on day one itself, I told you that the entire reason why the Maharashtra Sarkar was trying to bury up this entire investigation was because there were certain names linked to the political establishment of Maharashtra that would shake the foundations of the Mahavikas Aghadi Sarkar, and today that has proven to be correct. I mean, if we are supposed to believe Shruti Modi's lawyer, here is a man whose father was in jail for being a partner in crime with the irrigation scam, and we know whom the irrigation scam leads up to. So essentially, his nexus is right at the very top at one of the allies of the government. And now you also have another angle where the suppliers of the drugs, the drug peddlers who are supplying to Shovik. Now, if you ask them who are their clients, my sources tell me that the reason why Mumbai police went soft on this entire drug angle, Rahul, is because if they go into the details of these peddlers, they will find a large number of Bollywood A-listers and political personalities and 2 young politicians of a very prominent political family who are being supplied by the same peddler who are supplying to Shovik and others. And therefore, I'm telling you, this is the reason why the suicide theory was floated, the CBI was prevented, and the Maharashtra Sarkar and the Mumbai police tried to bury up the entire SSR investigation.
We bring in Dr. Subramanian Swami on this. We've been trying to connect with him. We've been having a few audio issues. He's been brought up to speed on this entire story. Massive revelations. Not only are the drug peddlers beginning to acknowledge their links to the Chakravartis, but also you have the entire RIA inner circle cracking up and trying to spin the blame on other individuals like Imtiaz Khatri, who's very politically connected, has links to, Bollywood A-list, has links to politicians. This is becoming very, very messy. But Dr. Swami, again, you had actually predicted this 2.5 months ago. I want to ask you, is Riya Chakravarti now days away from arrest, at least as far as drug circulation is concerned?
She needs a custodial interrogation, and I believe that the FIR is ready in about 7-8 charges in this matter, and they will proceed. And there are other things that will also come, because now the CBI and the agencies have got evidence that Saif Ali Khan, that son of Pataudi, he's also an actor, he had threatened him with elimination if he didn't leave his daughter. So therefore, that's also going to be another new angle that's going to open up. And there's no doubt that the Narcotics Bureau has done tremendously good work. So we are now reaching the final stages for this before it goes to court. But in court, we need very solid evidence, because conspiracy is easy to prove. Intimidation, forcing him to lose his sense of balance, all these can be easily proved. The final thing is how the whole thing happened. On that, I think the CBI is now working very hard to piece together by these interrogations. So I think we are well on our way to a successful investigation. And these three agencies we have to thank, and I also think the Prime Minister requires a compliment because this idea of bringing the Narcotics Bureau was his. I mean, although I believed from very beginning that that's an angle, but he did, instead of waiting for further evidence, etc., he immediately, based on his information that he had, he ordered a Narcotics Bureau investigation, which has been very, very supplemental and useful for the whole investigation.
Well, it just tells you that certain individuals first entrusted with this entire investigation were derelict. They didn't look into the wider conspiracy. The Supreme Court also has pointed out the fact that this investigation was conducted under a very narrow section of the CRPC, which was perhaps an error. That is what was said. I just want to open this up. We have with us also Vijay Lakshmi Khopade and DK Rai. Sanjay Hegde, I want to bring you in. We are also learning that Pithani has turned against Riya Chakravarti. He is being telling his interrogators that Riya used SSR's cards, credit cards to shop and for her own expenses. This is not looking good, Sanjay Hegde. Wider conspiracy,
Rahul,
it seems, was
Rahul,
buried.
May I just come in for a minute?
And can we now, one second, Mr. Poonawalla, I'm just
Rahul,
asking.
can I just come in for...
1 second, let me ask Mr. Hegde the straight off the bat question. What does this tell you? This tells you that for some reason, the investigation was deliberately confined, very narrow, so that, the full extent of the entire conspiracy would never be revealed. And big names perhaps could be, at some level or the other, shielded.
Yes, one must be very thankful to Dr. Swamy for having just revealed that the Prime Minister himself ordered the narcotics people to go in and investigate. I mean, this was not something which was out in the public domain. One must thank Dr. Swamy. He will make an interesting witness as and when the matter goes to court. Why did the narcotics NCB act on its own back? Was it ordered by the Prime Minister? All these are very interesting questions. But the basic question is only one. How did Sushant Singh Rajput die? Today,
No, the basic question is... The basic question... No, 1 second, Mr. Hegde.
Is it a homicide?
Mr. Hegde, can I please remind you that even the Supreme Court said that the Mumbai police was only conducting an inquiry, not an investigation. And that it did not do so under the requisite section, which would have allowed it to actually expand the canvas a little bit. Now, do you find that strange? Now that names, very influential names are coming out, which might have even links to big political players in the state. Do you believe that there was perhaps an attempt to, in some way fast-track this case under the carpet?
No, in law there's also something called a roving and fishing inquiry. The inquiry out there was simply this. Was that a suicide? Was it a homicide? The Bombay police saw nothing to indicate that it was not a suicide. Thereafter, you and the media have made a big breakfast out of it, and Dr. Swamy has added to it just now.
No. I thought that one particular top minister... 1 second, Mr. Hegde, one top minister in the Maharashtra government on day one itself passed judgment. Allow me, sir. Allow me. Can you allow me?
Constitutionally wrong.
Can you allow me?
Deshmukh came out and said it was a suicide.
Yes. Wasn't there a minister that came out even before the
Sanjay Raut kept attacking the family.
that this was what was the hurry to declare this a suicide without even knowing the basic facts?
That the Prime Minister has ordered.
No, 1 second. 1 second. Listen, four people can't speak over each other. So, Mr. Hegde, I'm asking you a most basic question. You yourself have said that the most basic question, it doesn't matter. Anything else doesn't matter. The most basic question is, how did Sushant Singh Rajput die? We had a verdict from a top minister in the Maharashtra government within hours of his death. The police hadn't even got out of its barracks. They hadn't even landed up at the house. But we had, in fact, a verdict. Now, don't you find that strange? You don't
Only
think that is
judges give
condemn-worthy?
verdicts.
You don't
Only
think that is
judges give
condemn-worthy?
verdicts. A minister repeats whatever the
But the police
on
hadn't
the
said
site has told
anything.
you.
Why are you covering up
What
for
is
the
he
minister?
talking about? You know,
I am
I'm
not.
quite
I am
shocked that
asking Dr. Swami. Did
No,
the
I'm
Prime
only
Minister
asking you,
order
sir.
the NCB?
Rahul.
No, that's
Okay,
the
Mr.
thing.
Bhatia
This is
wants to come
Rahul.
in. 1 second. Yes, Mr. Poonawalla, make your quick
Rahul.
point. Make your point. Yes, make your point. I want to bring in Mr. Bhatia to rebut Mr. Hegde. Yes.
point.
On the political point. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I understand, but Rahul, I have two important points to convey to you. Point number one, that it was impossible that the Mumbai police did not know about this drug link and whom this drug link links to in terms of political connections. They went soft on it because they were asked to do so, because there were certain powers that did not want it. Today, the political connections are coming out, and I have certain information that you personally, Rahul, and your organization is in for a very big targeting, because you are touching those sections of the political establishment that did not want this to come out. I am telling this to you on your platform and channel, Rahul, that you are in for a massive amount of targeting, because you are the one who brought out the entire Riyadh drug link first, and now you are going after this with your conviction and integrity. Rahul, I can tell you that an entire conspiracy is being planned to target you and your group, and I'm saying it with the entire integrity at my command, that they are planning a big assault on your organization and you to target you, to silence you.
Well, maybe
Rahul,
Mr. Hegde launched the first missile here. I don't know. I'm not going to be. No, we are not going to be tamed by this. We are not going to be tamed by this.
I have something to tell you as well. If Shehzad is telling you something, I think Shehzad would make a very good movie star. He shows excellent acting ability.
No, don't hit below the belt. He hasn't hit you below the belt, sir. Don't do this.
Sir,
You're trivializing the debate. That's not fair.
You will make a very
Don't
good
make it
propagandist,
personal. You have a
because your
habit,
enemy
sir,
is
of
a
making
failed
it very
lawyer.
personal.
You make a very good
And when people
propagandist.
get personal
And
with
probably
you,
for
then
the
you want to
Maharashtra government.
complain about it. Don't do that, please. That's not fair. That's not fair. Come on. And it shouldn't come from an individual. No, it shouldn't also come from an individual who was taken off Twitter also. For making certain comments which were not
This
becoming
man was
of
declaring the
Twitter's
murderer
policy.
in the
So
Loya
let's not,
case.
maybe you have your ways with words, etc. But let's not make it personal. I request you today, sir. It's already getting personal with me. There will be people who will take it out on us. We are going to stand firm. I've already begun to feel it, but that's okay. We are standing firm. Mr. Bhatia, I want you to come in on this. Mr. Bhatia, claims are being made that this is entirely a politically orchestrated campaign to try and go after certain individuals in the political establishment via the drug route, via the Bollywood route. It's a complete attempt at trying to make this a political witch hunt. How do you react to this?
Okay, Rahul, I want to respond to whatever has been said on the program so far, and legally as well as politically. So for the benefit of the viewers, let us understand how misleading statements have been made on your program by very senior colleagues of mine. First of all, what are the offences that have been committed so far? Disha Salian suspected, very mysterious death. It could be a sexual exploitation case. It could be a rape case. It could be a brutal murder. We don't know. That needs to be investigated. Mumbai police failed. Second, rightly pointed out by Mr. Hegde that Sushant Singh's mysterious death again, that could be a homicide and not a suicide. For 65 days, Mumbai police could not even register an FIR, which they ought to have been doing. They did not do. That needs to be investigated. Third, a cognizable offence, the drug angle. Under the NDPS Act, let me tell you, it's a distinct offence and an FIR should have been registered. Right then and there by the Mumbai police was not registered. So the valid question would be, whose political pressure has been, ensuring all this for the criminals? And that is why this shadow has been cast upon the Mumbai police. And under the circumstances, when the Home Minister of Maharashtra says on the first day itself, Sushant Singh Rajput's death is a suicide, why should he be speaking? Mumbai police is under the Home Ministry. Second, 65 days, no FIR registered. Third, father and family of Sushant Singh Rajput also targeted by people in the Maharashtra government and Shiv Sena leader's wife. And fourth offense is the money laundering offense. So all these offenses required a distinct and a separate FIR, not registered. And therefore, I am reminded of a WhatsApp chat where it was Jaya Saha, which WhatsApp Riya Chakravarti. Times Now revealed it. And I still remember I participated in the debate. He was telling Riya Chakravarti how to administer the drug.
Okay.
Custodial interrogation is a must here. The truth will only come out then. And I'm sure the CBI, the ED will ensure that the truth comes out.
Well, viewers, we can tell you one massive news break coming up in just a few moments. I'm taking a short break. Viewers, I'll be right back. Another sting, more names. It's all happening tonight. Breakthrough time. Stay with us. We're coming right back. Viewers, it's all happening tonight. Big breakthrough. Names coming straight out, tumbling out of the closet. We are being told that rattled Riya Chakravarti is now threatening the Sushant Singh Rajput family, warning of stern legal action, going to file defamation cases, criminal defamation cases against Sushant Singh Rajput's family for slandering her name. Massive twist in this story. Even as we speak, an individual who is accused number one is looking to intimidate the Sushant Singh Rajput family with an attempt at slander. Now, this comes even as, of course, the Riya camp has gone on record making all sorts of insinuations against the Sushant Singh Rajput family. Mr. Hegde already beginning to get excited. Yes, what are you saying, Mr. Hegde? What are you saying? What do you have to say about this? Yes, Mr. Hegde.
You will be in trouble personally. How have you made her accused number one? Where is there a charge sheet? Where is there any proceeding?
No, accused number one, Mr. Hegde.
Sir, have you not read the FIR? Have you not seen 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 the FIR? There are 6 names on it. There are 6 names on it. No, what are you talking about? Is she not an accused? Is she not an accused?
You don't need to have a charge sheet for being accused number one.
In the Bihar FIR.
Sir, so what do you think I'm talking about? What do you think I'm talking about? No, what do you mean? She's an accused number one. Is there an FIR there? There is. It's there in black and white. What are you talking about, sir? What are you talking about? What are you talking? Listen, don't come here to muddy the waters day by day. No, I'm sorry. Don't try to muddy the waters. Don't try to muddy the waters, sir. Don't try to muddy the waters. I know this game. There is a game being played to intimidate people who are coming out and trying to suggest that this case is not as open and simple as it was made out to be. I know, sir. You are part of that lobby who goes out there and intimidates people. You did it in the Judge Loya case. You tried to tell people who were coming out with a counter narrative that they were lying, that they needed to be... No, sir. They needed to be sued. No, I understand, Mr. Hegde. I understand you like to get personal. You like to get personal. There, Mr. Bhatia has the list. There, Mr. Bhatia, show it. Show it to the world. Show it.
Yeah.
Show it.
Riya Chakravarti, accused number one.
There you go.
This FIR has been transferred.
There you go.
Riya Chakravarti.
There you go.
Eat your words, Mr. Hegde. Eat your words.
He won't.
Eat your words.
He won't.
Now, this is
He won't. He won't.
She is not
accused number one is Riya Chakravarti.
You will attack them now. What do you think?
Rahul, and we should call an accused an accused. She is accused number one. There are serious allegations against Riya Chakravarti.
There is a complaint, and FIR is not...
No, sir.
Listen, don't try to cover up now. Don't try to cover up, Mr. Hegde. We've shown you the evidence in black and white. Why don't you come out with... No, you come out with evidence to negate it. You come out with evidence to negate it. 1 minute. Viewers, look at the attempt. The attempt is being made very cleverly tonight. The attempt is being made very cleverly tonight to shift the goalposts and start targeting those who are speaking truths to power tonight. That's the problem. An attempt is being made. Look at these individuals. They tried to shut down. They tried to shut down the publication of a book, and they succeeded in doing so. They're not going to muzzle Times Now. Let me tell you, viewers, and I begin to believe now that Shehzad Poonawalla is absolutely right. You know, Shehzad, I didn't take you very seriously a few moments back, but I can see the game.
Yep.
I can see the game. I can see the game. I can see the game.
The modus operandi, Rahul, the modus operandi is slander the family, attack those who are speaking up for the family. This is a well-orchestrated plan by the lobby. And Rahul, what was the party of the Home Minister who said suicide theory? What is the party of those who supported this Imtiaz Khatri's father in committing the alleged scam that his father did? You just link the parties. It is the entire political dispensation out for your throat and out for the family.
Well, let me
Rahul,
tell you,
I'm telling
viewers,
you, be
the
careful.
Supreme
I'm
Court
telling
yesterday,
Times now,
the
be careful.
Supreme
These
Court
people
yesterday
around
frowned on an
midnight.
attempt at intimidating the Supreme Court. You will remember. You will remember in 2018, there was an attempt by 4 justices who came out into the home and the lawns of another justice, and they held a press conference. The Supreme Court has said that that was a terrible practice. That was not desirable. It has been said today, black and white. It was in every newspaper. It was carried on this channel. This is how they work, viewers. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. Sue, intimidate, threaten,
Rahul, can I just make one comment?
malign in false cases, file false cases against individuals in media companies, go after them, and we are not going to back down.
Yeah.
You will not buy our silence with threat and intimidation. Mr. Hegde, you will not, neither are those individuals who today you feel are in the right. No, don't. You don't have to warn me about anything, sir. You don't have to warn me about anything. I'm going with the facts here. The facts are undisputable. In any case, sir, in any case, I understand the game. I understand the game. But I want us, viewers, for 35 seconds. Allow me to speak here. I want to bring in Mr. Khopade. Ms. Khopade, Vijay Lakshmi Khopade.
Yes.
I want to ask you, the Mumbai police could not find a drugs angle to this entire case. Don't you think that's a bit convenient?
See, as far as the investigation by the Bombay police is concerned, they were conducting a preliminary inquiry in this case.
Oh, preliminary inquiry.
Yes.
They didn't want to investigate.
What the CBI has done
anybody stop them from registering an FIR?
Is done in the course of investigation, in the course
did
of the
anyone
time that
stop
the
the
CBI
Mumbai
had.
police
And as far as the
registering an
NCB
FIR?
is
Please ask her
concerned,
that
the Narcotics Control Board is concerned.
Tell me something, Miss Khopade, tell me something.
Obligation of the NCB.
Miss Khopade, can I ask you a question? Very small question.
Yes.
If your beloved, anyone close to you, had died under mysterious circumstances, and you went, God forbid that happens, and you go to the police, and you say, please investigate this, I feel that there is something that is not adding up, and the police conducts a preliminary inquiry, which is not even admissible before a magistrate, how would you feel? How would you feel, Ms. Khopade?
It is not about what I feel.
No, it is very much about what the citizens of this country feel. It is very much.
Not.
As a citizen, don't you think you have a right to get justice? I'm asking you. Do we live in a banana republic?
No place in law.
Do we live in a banana republic?
Just explain the law.
Do we? Yes, explain the law. Explain the law, Mr. Bhatia.
Absolutely.
Enlighten this lady. Enlighten this lady. She is mocking any attempt by the Sushant Singh Rajput family to claim justice.
Me the same courtesy that
Nobody is mocking.
Mr. Bhatia, explain the law. Mr. Bhatia, explain the law. Explain the law.
Rahul, after the inquest report is there, if there are mysterious circumstances, there are unexplained circumstances, then any police should register an FIR and begin the investigation. And in this case, there were many unanswered questions. There were many mysterious circumstances. After the inquest was conducted, Mumbai police ought to have registered an FIR, which they did not. Second, post-mortem. It was so vital for this case. It is not even timed. Is that not a glaring mistake made by the Mumbai police? That is why there was political patronage given to accused people. The Mumbai police ought to have been standing with the family of Sushant Singh
DK Rai.
Disha Salian. Rather, they were standing, protecting the accused. That is the horrific
DK Rai,
part. That is
a
the
legal
part that
point
shakes
raised by
the
Mr.
conscience of every
Bhatia.
human
Would you
being.
like to counter that? Legal point made. Legal
Yes.
point. On facts.
Before
Counter him on
that-
facts.
yes,
Inquest
before
report.
that- before
if it
that-
points to unexplained
yes.
circumstances,
Yes.
one should have ought to have filed an FIR. Did not happen. And it did.
Very honestly, inquest report was prepared and Vishra report was awaited. And till the time Vishra report is awaited, police is
That
having
has got
right
nothing
not
do
to
with
register a
registration
case
of
or to
FIR,
wait
sir.
for the report.
I think you do not
Fine,
know
please
the law.
wait. Please let me speak.
DK
I
Rai.
didn't interfere when others were speaking, so let me complete my argument.
DK Rai.
Rahul, yes, I am speaking. Rahul, now what happens? in
I'm
this
only asking you a
case,
simple question,
Mumbai
DK Rai
police
Sahab.
failed in
I'm
each
asking
and
you a
every
simple
conduct.
question. MC Abbas is also listening in. I'm asking you a simple question, DK Rai Sahab. In 75 days, the Mumbai police had no clue that there was a drug nexus lurking in the background of this entire conspiracy. I'm asking you. They couldn't figure this out? Tell me.
I will tell you. What happens in this whole case, now a media circus has started wherein, just listen to me for 2 minutes only. What happens,
is it
NCB team comes from the
You know, your
Delhi.
DK should stand
as
for
Mr.
don't
Subramaniam
know.
said.
You
Then
don't know the
CBI,
truth, or you don't want to tell the
please
truth.
don't
The
interfere
Mumbai
when I
police only
speak.
did a
If you
cover-up
don't
job.
let him-
They allowed the post.
I'm asking you, DK Rai. I'm asking you, Mr. DK Rai.
Hold it.
You tell me, Mr. DK Rai. You tell me, Mr. DK Rai. Give me an answer.
Even Cooper
Is it odd that the Mumbai police could not detect a massive drug racket being run in the background of this case? It's a simple question. It's a simple question. Tell me.
And the narrative set by you. I say, fine, CBI has been granted right to investigate. Let us wait.
Oh, now let us wait.
and
Let us
postpone
wait.
our argument
But
and
what about the
evidence. You people
accountability,
are
sir, of
tendering.
those who are investigating this
Please,
matter
you
till
are
now?
Jumping.
How do you know how much?
Accountability-
No, how much evidence has been
accountability does
lost?
not go
MC Abbas, I'm
beforehand.
asking you that
It will
question.
be once the
Massive drug
investigation
revelations
by the
coming out,
CBI.
wasn't it apparent?
One after
Wasn't it
another.
apparent in the very instance, in the first instance?
And the NCB, let us
Should the
wait.
phone records not have been checked?
Rahul,
What was the Mumbai police
NCB
waiting for, MC Abbas?
This NCB has made.
Rahul Saab,
India
I
Ulta
do
India.
get to see a lot of
Why a
Bharatiya
selective
Janata Party
investigation of the
cited
selected
panelists
cases?
who are making vague allegations on Mahavikas Aghadi. Let me tell you, they're doing nothing but shooting blanks. My question to Sandeep Singh would be, when this man was producing the movie
Sir,
by
who's
Modi,
shooting blanks?
no
Your
father has
congressman,
two wives.
Who's
no
shooting
congressman
blanks?
produced a movie on
Who's
Modi.
shooting blanks?
He was found to have
I'll tell you who's
links with
shooting blanks.
Devendra
Is Mr.
Fadnavis.
Sarogi shooting
Why don't we
blanks?
probe that angle,
Is
sir?
Farooq? No, I'm telling you, I'm asking you, sir. Is Mr. Sarogi shooting blanks? Why? What was his need to shoot blanks?
He is.
He's representing Shruti Modi, close friend of Riya Chakravarti. He's the one who's accusing the political establishment here of a cover-up. We are not doing it. The panelists are hardly doing it. 1 second, let's play out Ashok Sarogi. I just want to play out a small chunk of Ashok Sarogi, excerpt of Ashok Sarogi's conversation to Times Now. Listen to this, viewers, before we move on to another big breaking story. Listen to this.
Now, as far as drugs are concerned, it's a very common thing in the film industry. If you remember, one of the TV actress has committed suicide, and her boyfriend was in the clouds, and there was a news that he was supplier of the drugs. There were other news also, like Mamta Kulkarni and others. So it's a very common factor. Even today, if you wander around the Lokhandwala area and the Oshiwara area, I'm sure you will be in a position to get some person who is ready to deliver you the things. So it's a very common thing in the film industry. Now, as far as the supply, etc. is concerned, it is also within the knowledge of the police authorities as to how these things are being supplied. All these drugs are being supplied by one of the topmost person in the trade, that is Mr. Khatri. Now, as far as Mr. Khatri is concerned, he is a very big person. I believe today...
What's his full name, sir? What's his...
Imtiaz Khatri.
Okay.
I believe that today, since I am taking his name, tomorrow there might be some problems with me also.
There you go. Some problems with me also. Revelations are not being made by us. They are being made by the lawyers that have been hired by Riya Chakravarti's inner circle. Now I'm asking you, Ms. Khopade.
Where is the proof?
Yes.
Those people who are
This is
supposed to be
based on
defending
justice.
Riya Chakravarti are the ones who are blaming the current dispensation.
It is absolutely unfortunate that a senior advocate like Ashok Sarogi.
It doesn't matter, but he's making a claim. He's making a claim.
It is absolutely shocking that someone like him will.
No, but Satish Mane Shinde can make claims. That's not shocking. That is suiting you. So it's okay. Satish Mane Shinde can go on air on select channels, make any sort of claim. Accused number one, Riya Chakravarti, can go on any channel, make a claim. That's all fine. It's not strange to you. But the lawyer of another co-accused can't go on air because it doesn't suit your narrative. Look at them getting so excited. What does this tell you, Shahzad Poonawalla, very quickly before I move on to this other big breaking story connected with this case? Drug peddlers question today have dropped big names. More names tumbling out of the closet, but Shahzad Poonawalla, very quickly, what does this tell you?
Is relevant to the question of suicide or homicide.
Rahul, these people's hypocrisy knows no limits. They scream freedom of speech day in and day out, but they are okay with a slander campaign against those who run the agenda for justice for Sushant. And for just for record's sake, the Shaheen Bagh lawyer is now sounding more like the Shaheen Bagh Dadi, making little sense almost every time he appears on the channel. But here's what I want to tell you, which was the party that was pushing for nightlife to be extended, which was the party that came out and said it was a suicide, and which is the party to which is Imtiaz Khatri.
Well, I can't understand, viewers, why this drug link was not so apparent. It is the biggest smoking gun in this entire case, could have possible ramifications for 2 deaths, but it was somehow overlooked. I don't know why. Anyhow, today, peddlers were interrogated and they have dropped big names, and there are more details coming out. We are being told that Mr. Hegde appears for Mr. Khatri. Is that true? In the irrigation scam, you didn't? Or you did? You didn't?
No.
Okay, you didn't appear in the irrigation scam?
No.
No, you didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
And now I can sue you.
I'm asking you a question. I'm not denying you.
No, I'm
asking you.
I'm telling you I did.
I'm asking you.
You sue him.
If you
No, don't intimidate me. Don't intimidate me. I'm giving you a platform. I'm asking you a question. You're clarifying and we are not making any insinuation. Don't try to intimidate me. Don't throw your lawyer. Don't throw your lawyer. Am I saying that it is not true?
You're dealing with a lawyer.
Am I saying it's not true? Listen, you can go to any extent to try and muzzle. You can go to any extent to muzzle free speech, no problems. When you were whining about Twitter taking action against you, let me tell you, sir. Let me tell you. You were batting for free speech. I can't ask you a question. Are you above question? Are you above question? Are you, Mr. Hegde, above question? Are you above question, Mr. Hegde? Are you above question, Mr. Hegde? I'm asking you. Are you above question?
I have to question why I come on your program.
I'm asking you, are you above question?
I'm asking you,
are you above question?
On my program.
Are you above question? Are you above question?
I'm asking you, put your
Are you
money,
above question? Can I not ask you as a free citizen of this country if you are associated with the case? And if you say no, we'll accept it, face value. Am I doubting you? Am I calling you a liar? No.
Sushant commit suicide, or are you saying that somebody killed him?
I am only asking you a simple question, sir. Are you above question? How dare you intimidate? How dare you intimidate? How dare you intimidate? How dare you intimidate? How dare you intimidate?
You are running Dura Kushti. You are running the
You're sounding more like Sanjay Raut.
I'm only asking you a question.
You're sounding more like Sanjay Raut. Sanjay should spend less time with the dadis and more time in court.
Okay.
And I will also...
Mr. Hegde clarifies he did not appear for anyone in the irrigation scam. Okay. Mr. Hegde, matter is simple. You could have easily answered. We could have moved on. Don't waste the time.
I have even appeared for a lot of people on the BJP side. That doesn't make me a part of the BJP.
Fair enough. I only asked you a question, sir. I only asked you a question.
No,
I only asked you a question. Don't get so shirty if someone asks you a question.
You only want convenient answer.
I'm not asking you for a convenient answer. I'm not asking you to admit to anything. If you have a point of view, say it, but don't try to threaten people. Nonetheless, viewers, I need to move on. There is another big breaking news with regards to Pranab Mukherjee's case. As we all know, viewers, today a statesman, his final rites were conducted. Mr. Pranab Mukherjee has been laid to rest. But even as his creation was ongoing, we have had the Congress party mocking Pranab Mukherjee, India's statesman, president, Bharat Ratna. In fact, two big voices, and I want to bring in Vivek Narayan. Vivek, we are being told that two big influential voices from the Congress party are questioning Mr. Pranab Mukherjee's legacy.
We can check that soundbite out now, Rahul. It's ready. But as they say in Hindi, चिता की आग अभी ठंडी नहीं हुई कि कांग्रेस के सीनियर नेता, and who are these leaders? This is the senior most leader of the Congress party in the parliament, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, and many times Congress chief minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah. What have they said? They have said, it is sad that a man so tall as Mr. Pranab Mukherjee had to shake hands with the RSS. He went and attended an RSS camp and spoke with people who killed Mahatma Gandhi. Well, as they say, there is a limit to which you can go in criticizing a person post his death. And that also, as I earlier said, even as his cremation is just getting over, they couldn't have waited. It is more embarrassing, perhaps, Rahul, than the CWC meeting we saw last week.
Well, it's clearly petty. It's very petty of these leaders. Obviously, they're trying to show that they are more loyal than the king. Very petty jibe. Madhav, I'm sorry I've run out of time. We're taking a short break. The top stories coming up, viewers. Big disclosures. Right after this break. Top stories at this hour, viewers. It's getting very big.